Let me make sure everything's working.
It's okay.
We'll keep everything short and sweet.
We're doing only one person's doing intros tonight. The rest of us haven't done anything. I'll say this for my part of the introduction. It's been a fucking terrible day. It's been an absolute shit awful day. When I woke up, there was horrible news about the tabletop role-playing game community that was compounding on already terrible news. Now it's like exponential. It's like, what if you powered an explosion with a second explosion?
Like a thermonuclear explosion.
Yeah,
Make that joke.
What was wrong with the tabletop community?
What happened this time?
Look, it would take way too long to explain.
Is this connected to the roleplay thing?
It is absolutely. I mean, but connected to the roleplay thing, if you mean entirely encompassed by the roleplay thing, then yes.
Yeah.
Stuff has come out about Adam Coble a couple weeks ago. Now more stuff's coming out about JP. More stuff's coming about an unnamed cast member. Like, shit is fucking real in that community. And you know what? I gotta tell you, like, I'm in the middle of rewatching Swan Song, which I consider to be the most fantastic and best product. And I saw someone say something like, after West Marches, JP realized with business sense, if you just only bring big names in, you can draw in big names, you don't have like highly produced storylines. It's not about friendship anymore. It's not about, you know, kicking it around. And I was like, wow, that's true. Like watching Swan Song, this is 5 friends. And watching Far Verona, this is 5 actors. So I don't know. That's where I'm at.
It's kind of the reason why I stopped watching all that shit, to be honest with you.
Yeah, like
because it felt less organic and less.
I don't know.
I only watched the Dark Heresy one with
Total Biscuit and Steve
TB
Pumpkin.
and
that was what brought a lot of people in.
I watched most of Swan Song.
I got brought in by R&D Pendragon, and when I got caught up on that while watching it live, I went back and watched Dark Heresy and then all the other R&Ds, and I thought, this is a pretty good channel. I'm going to stick around and watch more of this.
Was I the only one that was watching from the very beginning then?
Maybe. I'll be honest, everyone's like, the original roleplay is the best, and I was like, yeah, this original roleplay, well, it exists. It is a product.
Like Neil was a fucking straight ball buster, dude.
Yes. I mean, look, see, my problem is my first impression of Neil was really awful. Someone was like, hey, look at this Twitch stream. It's literally the worst thing I've ever seen. And it's Neil talking to Anna Prosser about how large of a breast size a woman can have to fit through a door that has a 6-inch crack. And
roll for hotness, dude.
And Anna was like, look, my character's bust size is comparable to my own. I will physically force my way through a door with 6-inch crack to prove that it can be done. And Neil's like, it's impossible. I've done the math. And Anna's like, Neil, we've been talking about this for 50 minutes. We have to move on.
Here's the thing about OG roleplay, though. It is the best type of awkward. That's what makes it so good.
Well, it's because it was a lot of their first time ever playing.
Yeah.
And like I've been around roleplay from the beginning, Neil, and now that
Neil was just organically the most awkward son of a bitch on the face of the planet. And to me, that is like the best way for someone to experience roleplay or D&D in general is like with the stereotypes, right? Yeah. The GM who's like that guy. And that's what that game was.
Yeah. But like not
everyone fits into that. Maybe that's why you hate it, Arthur, because you realize that you do everything to not be that stereotype, right?
I see.
But like
you know what I'm saying?
And now it's my job, so I need to watch it.
Yeah,
that might be changing in the future.
Yeah, look, I didn't want to cover this because I knew it would be a very personal and financial business decision for you, but I definitely feel like if you have any interest in the tabletop role-playing game community, do some private research because this shit is fucking insane. Like every time I learn more about it, I'm just like, what is happening? Like, how has this been going on for years?
A lot of that shit I didn't even know, and like I've been around and like
Dave
in circles.
Yeah, like Dave attempted to keep it that way, using contracts and NDAs and now lawsuits. I mean, look, like it's impressive the level of preparation for this situation that was put in. Dave, rather than talk about all that, let's talk about this new game that you've released on Steam and Switch. Is this Alder's Blood, a Victorian Cthulhu, hunters in the dark, getting out there with crossbows and swords, killing monsters and shit while going insane?
That's the one.
I was buying you some time while you were chewing.
Thank you. People really like that game. But I will say this. Let me tell you, you don't fuck with the Darkest Dungeon community.
Yeah.
Don't fuck with them.
Yeah.
Don't even pretend to be in the same ballpark with these guys.
I agree.
The only negative reviews we get
are comparing you to Darkest Dungeon.
So here's the thing. We get negative reviews. We've been sitting on the front page of Steam since release. We were up there for about a week before release. And basically what happens is every time we get a negative review, it takes the score, the total score, like very positive, mostly positive, neutral, etc., right? And it sort of fluctuates. So when they do the negative reviews for a game that they, for whatever reason didn't like, it puts the game down potentially into the next bracket and takes you off the front page, right? So that's a lot of potential traffic being pulled away. The negative reviews we get are like, yeah, so I was expecting it to be like Darkest Dungeon and it's not. And I'm like, fuck me, dude. Of course it's not Darkest Dungeon. You could take a look at a screenshot and you would realize it's not Darkest Dungeon. Like, straight up. Like, because it said fantasy or like Victorian horror.
Dark fantasy horror.
Or whatever. It just fits.
This isn't Bloodborne. What the hell is this?
It was inspired by Bloodborne, but it's not Bloodborne. It really isn't. And that is the most frustrating experience with user reviews. It's just like anyone can leave a review. Someone could play for 10 minutes and say, nah, it's buggy or whatever, because they didn't fucking read something. And it just tanks everything.
Dave.
Anyway, the game is selling really well in spite of all that. And people like it. And here's the thing. We didn't have the game has an entire novel in it. Like, it's an entire novel. It's a huge fucking story. 40 hours worth of content. Within a couple of days of it being released, the Russians were like, listen, friend, we have already translate entire game for you for free. And we're just like, okay, bring us that. We'll put it in. So now everyone else is just like, oh, you want German in the game? We translate for free because we like the game. And it's like, God damn, dude. That sort of shit is like super strange. It would literally cost us like $10,000 to translate this game because of how many words are in it. And then within a couple of days, the crazy Russians were like, here we go. Come on now. Give me that shit. I will translate for free. Anyway, yeah, ups and downs.
Dave.
Ups and downs. Anyway.
I'm glad about your success. But as long as you're going to keep running up against the Darkest Dungeon community, I have something I want to share with you.
What's that?
And that is that you must remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer. Remind yourself that overconfidence. All right. Anyone else have a short intro they want to do before we hop in here?
He's on death's door.
I just been playing more Bannerlord, dude.
Look, the lack of being able to recruit fucking anybody at the end of the game because everyone has already been recruited or is dead is a very serious problem.
It's just not.
It is a countryside at war, and there are no men left to join the army.
Maybe it's just because I control a third of the map, but
I'm downloading that game right now because I am on furlough all next week. Yay!
Listen.
Hey.
I don't know about that furlough shit, but fucking Mountain Blade Bannerlord, you're gonna be up at like 5 a.m. and be like, just one more castle siege. If I could just take Brabant, it'll be over and the war will be done.
Look, AP, why do you have to call me out like this? I am 70 hours into this motherfucker. All right, like. I'll have to it's actually posted. If you look in the games channel, Dave, and go up wherever, I don't know if you search for my post, you'll see my map where I control like a third of the world. And just, oh, goddamn. It's like World War I. Everyone's at war with everyone else. And I've just stopped trying to go to the aid of villages.
Anybody.
I'm just
Yeah,
like, I
you
can't.
just have to kill and keep killing
Because the
and never
story,
stop killing. Because if you go on defense for 10 seconds, you lose.
Well, like somebody in the chat had said is like, I can't even with your storyline because I broke it down what happened. You know, we started here and then there was a war over it. So you can see like where I've gone through the map where I was when another, like I've just gone to where the wars are. And it's just like I've got shit everywhere. And then oh god.
Listen, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take a break. We're not at war with anybody. I'm gonna go to Southern Peninsula. I'm gonna make my way back up to Danustica. I'm just gonna recruit the whole way. I'm gonna find a woman. I'm gonna get married. All right. So I went on a marriage quest. Got to Danustica immediately. 3 war declarations. 2 cities hit by 2 different factions under siege. Both of them owned by me. A castle under siege. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna kill my way across the continent. And if a woman shows up, I'm gonna marry her. But I can't even stop to have a wedding, guys.
Well, the thing was, I went from like, oh, we're at war with one person, and then it was like, oh, it was peace or whatever. It was fine. So I had some time and built up a pretty sizable. I think I have mine, and then I think I have at least one other. I have a companion running another fairly large party or whatever, and it's like, oh, okay, things are going fairly well. Only like 1 or 2 countries are at war with each other, and all of a sudden, Sturgia, Northern Empire, Britannia, and then we were already still at war with Valandia all at once, and then they all declared war on each other. So it's just everybody's fighting everybody else, and it's like World War I essentially. But if my game would stop crashing, I would just start going
in
on
the 7th century. There is only war.
In the grim darkness of the 7th century, there is only war.
The review that got me to actually pull the trigger, and I'm trying to find it right now, but it was really, really funny. But basically the guy was like, yeah, you know, I didn't really like it, but then I realized that I was playing it wrong, and it's actually like a procreation simulator.
Yes.
So I ended up having babies with women, and you know, I left a trail of like 1,000 babies across the land, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna fucking get this.
All right, Genghis Khan.
Listen,
there's some.
I want to get to that point, but I literally can't spend a night in a castle with a woman. I have to rush from location to location, killing over and over again.
I can't find that review anymore.
That's how I feel, AP. Because like I married the wife, or no, I married the daughter of the Empress, and so it's like
I can't.
I'm leading a party.
I can't marry her.
And she's leading a party, and it's like we haven't had any kids yet. But my first
Hera,
playthrough,
right? That's who it is.
Yeah.
I went when I went to Danustica. It was to find her so that I could marry her. Mm-hmm. When I talked to her, I didn't have the option to.
Interesting, because I was able to do it. I mean, granted, I had already been the vassal of the Empress for a while, so maybe I just had the influence and the renown. But the very first time I talked to her, I was able to pull up that option.
I mean, she has it. Listen,
we've had no kids, but my first playthrough where I married, I think it was one of the Sturgian, I think it's Svanya or whatever, one of the shield maidens. Like, we started cranking out kids left, right, and center, and it's like whatever. I don't know.
Look, all I have to say about Era is that she has 2 massive armies that I really want to join my party, because I am running low on soldiers. Just fucking join my party, god damn it.
Yeah. There are some, if you're interested in Spoot, there's some mods that fix some of the broken stuff in the game. I can hit you up with that. Yeah, there's some.
I mean, the mods just re-break every time a new patch comes out.
Surprisingly, I haven't had any of my mods break the past couple days. It's just been the save itself, like loading and then instantly crashing. But even vanilla, it's been doing that with some of my saves.
Yeah, shoot them my way.
Because there's like right now, like armor doesn't work like it's supposed to. So like arrows completely bypass armor 100%. That's why archers are so fucking lethal.
Armor actually kills you. You must be naked to play this game.
I mean, you are fighting like the Britannians.
They didn't understand how FACO worked. So
yeah, right. So it fixes some stuff like that. But I mean, they've been cranking up patches, fixing the broken stuff pretty quickly. So I mean, good on them, I guess. But
man, I love Mountain Blade, but I've never, ever been able to get to any sort of castle siege in that game. And I played hundreds of hours of that game, but I never got to that stage.
Listen,
know what I
I'm
was
taking
doing wrong.
castles left and right. I'm able to solo take cities, which in the original Mount and Blade was incredibly fucking hard.
Yeah, I'm able to take out it's like castles are a joke at this point. The city's really the only ones that give any challenge. And that's because of
maybe
volume.
that's my favorite.
I mean, my
Mount
build
Blade
is specifically a leadership build meant to have the largest, most capable army possible. Which is why sometimes I ride towards Sea Raiders and they hit me in the head with an arrow and I die instantly, even with a 45. I just like, all right, I'm super high level. I have the largest helm possible, and I get hit in the head and die instantly.
That's
you
why
have the largest helm possible. It's the biggest target on the field.
Yeah, that's true.
That's why I at least because I've talked to people like, oh, I really don't want to mod it. It's like at least get the one I think it's called Armor Works or Make Armor Work or something, so you don't just like, because if you're fighting dudes with tons of archers, I mean, it's supposed to be the trade-off, right? You can either be slow and heavily armored, or you can have a lot more movement and not a lot of armor. But right now, arrows bypass armor in the vanilla game, like base game. They just don't. The armor's not calculated, so you just get domed by an arrow or hit in the chest with an arrow, and you take that full damage. And it's stupid. It's not supposed to work that way, but it's broken right now. So.
All right, Drumurboy, you got anything for these quick intros?
No, more music came out on stuff. If you care about that, you can go find it.
I do. I listen to Drumurboy.
It's roleplay related stuff.
Sit down and listen to it for a spell. Well, listen. Yeah. For me, it's not roleplay related stuff. It's Drumurboy content.
Yeah. Well, for me, it's like super roleplay related. This is the last Far Verona song. I was trying to do character themes, and then they decided to blow up and reveal their whole asses to the entire internet. So
I don't know that all of them revealed their asses. Just maybe one of them, maybe two of them.
Full pale moon.
All right, 17-minute intros. I guess that's what passes for fast introductions around here.
Oh, almost done the next Nerd or Die thing. I'm doing some.
Excellent, because Nerd or Die is doing a sale right now.
Yep, on a full thing that's been anticipated for a while. I think most of it is already out. Just the alerts are not. I'm doing sound design for those.
This overlay is 90% Nerd or Die, so yeah.
I will say one thing: buy Yakuza, play Yakuza. That's all I will say.
Very well. Previously on the show, Kelly was about to get into a fist fight with one of the war priests of Kuzenkas. You have prepaid for a inn barn for 6 and a barrel of dwarven ale. Spootnik, Henley has been called into a druidic conference with a shaman, a snowhair shaman, whose familiar you're currently holding by the ears.
That's right. What's her familiar?
Snowhair. Arctic snowhair.
You showed a picture of her or something, so she's like a main
snowhair, like HARE, like a rabbit.
Like this.
Gotcha.
Yes.
And you showed a picture of her, right?
Correct. I mean, it's up on the Roll20 right now. Well, she's not a named NPC because you don't know her name yet, but
she's got a picture, so she's got a name.
Yeah.
What if I told you she didn't have a name?
Yeah, think back to episode 2 of this game. And Arthur introduces this character and he's like, guys, I have this sick fan art that I got commissioned for this character for no reason. We're like, oh yeah?
Listen, if you thought that was good, I should be getting some Gleemo art.
Why'd you do that? Why'd you do that?
And then because he has rocks in the picture, we've been making fun of him ever since.
Yep.
Kelly, you've chalked up your hands. There's some wraps available. It's cold. It's not super cold. We're not talking North Canada cold, but it is like Wisconsin in the late fall cold.
Yeah, all those things make total sense to me.
Yeah.
Wisconsin.
Yeah, that place.
Wisconsin.
I mean, Wisconsin, I haven't looked at a map, but I assume it's cotangent with Poland. Latitudinally, I think.
What time of the year, or like...
We're talking 50, 60 F maximum. With some light...
Another thing I completely understand.
So it's still not...
Don't even. You can do the math on... It's
No, Poland is higher.
9/5 plus 32.
Yeah, Poland is higher. Poland
Let's
is
just
like
call it and even negative 20 Celsius. There you go.
It's cold.
That's cold as shit.
Celsius. Oh
That's
my
cold as
God.
shit.
Yeah, you
Okay,
would
I know
die from
negative 20.
exposure.
Poland is
Okay.
more in line with Canada.
I
It's a bit
mean,
more-
Wisconsin is right up
I
there
mean,
on the
yeah.
Canadian border. All right, look. Again, I just wanted to mention I wasn't looking at a map when I made that approximation, but Polish weather in the late fall should be a pretty good. And there's no air conditioning or heating here.
Oh, late
realm.
fall, probably like below 5 degrees.
It's
Okay.
not below 0 Celsius at this
No.
location.
Well, like 5
like
is
right now.
chilly.
It's
Yes,
cold
it's
enough
chilly.
to make your nipples hard, but not so cold that they fall
my
off.
God. Okay, so
Look.
your half orcish friend here is
Got the
flexing
nipple
his
half shove
fists
going on.
and then wrapping his hands up, and he says,
Oh, shit.
I've arranged for a barge tomorrow morning. It will carry your 2 days conclave.
I'm
Then
gonna
he
have to
takes
get
a
some
fighting
reminders here.
stance. Instead
What
of
was the conclave
using his
about
fist to
again?
block his head, he uses it to block his abdomen. And it looks like his fighting style is almost entirely like knee jabs and straight body blows.
All right.
What are you going with, Kelly?
Come. I like to imagine Kelly when she's unarmed is like Tai Chi because of like a lot of the tail stuff. I imagine would be like very sort of fluid movements almost.
So you developed
So-
your own fighting style that involves using your tail?
I guess, yeah.
Tail
I
chi.
always
There you go.
tail chi.
Wow,
yeah.
no.
I really want to see Dragonborn Capoeira now.
I mean,
Pancration.
it probably is closer to capoeira, right? It's probably very because Oath of the Ancients is very like I don't know, happy, I guess, or like very affirmative to life. So a dance type martial art would probably fit.
All right,
quite
so this
well,
guy's
I
going to be
imagine.
pressing the jump button a lot. Just
Spamming jump.
down guard, down guard, down guard.
Down, down.
Hadouken!
He just starts.
Well, I don't know. Are we playing Virtua Fighter here? Am I
Kick.
going to be able to like jump on top of you
Tekken
when I knock
3.
you down? So-
Tekken 3.
Guy just puts on claws and starts walking around like Voldo.
Oh God, no! One does not simply talk about Volda. Oh man.
All right, so what are we doing here?
Athletics rules opposed.
All right. So this is like a wrestling contest almost then, basically.
Yeah, I
Like we're going
mean
to
it's
the
a
mat
it's
sort
a
of thing?
contest of martial feats.
A slap fight, if you will.
No, there's no slapping involved, and unless you bring that. Okay, yeah, you beat his ass basically. He's not untrained.
I'm like Nala, he's like Simba, and I'm like Pinji again.
Wow. Okay.
Oh my.
Yeah, I know. The fight's not over instantly, but it's clear from the beginning that you have an advantage based on your third weapon via your tail. And he is confused as to how to deal with it. It's clear that this guy has not seen a lot of Dragonborn combatants, has no idea in his programmed fighting style how to deal with it, and is just getting his ass kicked by your low kicks and tail sweeps.
Yeah, I imagine a lot of it is like if you said he's using a lot of like blocks and stuff, he would be doing like knee blocks sort of thing,
Yes.
right? And that's just like sweep the leg material right
Yep.
there. So
Takes him down.
Mhm.
Outside, Finley, I think Agram is watching over you from the entrance of the Guzangozian temple. But yeah, this nameless shaman is just, can you put my animal companion down?
Was this yours, Surrey? Oh, set the hair down.
It
Didn't mean to.
lumps its
cause
way
ice
behind
cream.
her.
Thought you're familiar.
We have a bond.
Seems to be a strong one.
She closes her eyes and takes a deep smell and says, "You smell of bear."
That would be a good assessment.
I could smell your musk from across the colony.
Why, thank you. What is your purpose here?
I have need of someone with your skills.
How do you know my skills?
Because you smell like a bear.
So what are you in need of? A bear?
No. I am in need of one who follows the circles like yourself.
Ah. It is my favorite shape. Just what are you, well, first of all, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Henley Longbottom.
She nods.
I didn't hear what you said.
Yeah, no, I said she nods.
And now it's customary for you to introduce yourself.
In the wilds, there are no customs.
We're not in. I'm like looking around and like there's buildings and shit. I'm like, it's not so very wild right here.
I am only here to speak with you. I have been guided to give you a quest. I protect
Guided
these
by
lands.
voices?
Yes, by the voice of the earth.
That was a 90s prog rock joke. But,
Thanks.
You know.
The white worm, Frostwander, turns in her sleep. Someone must put her back to rest with offerings. If this is not done, no, I work for this coast. I protect it. If the worm awakens, it will eventually threaten here after killing all life. White worms are sorry, she wouldn't say white worms. She would say the white worm is dangerous, cunning, but a beast, little more than an animal in many ways. If it can be lured back to sleep with a sufficient sacrifice, be best for all.
What type of sacrifice would be sufficient?
He says, as you know, and of course you don't know this, but I've implied it a couple times, all beasts are led by a super intelligent version of themselves called the King. I believe it would be best for you to seek out the King of the frozen northern Char. It is a giant superfish, over 30 feet long. You must find it and bring it alive before Frostwander, and use it to lure her back to sleep.
Okay, for a second there I thought, like a human king. Like that.
No, it's just a very large version of a Char.
You want a fish? I can get you a fish.
Yes, it has to be a super large fish. Alive. You have the capability to fish.
How far away is the habitat of the fish to where the worm is?
I have no idea where the fish is, but the worm lies at the northernmost north, on a floating ice rock.
So, my only concern is keeping the fish alive. You say it's quite large.
She says, yes. And then she turns and starts walking away.
So, okay, then. Can I get your number? How do I reach you?
She turns back, well, she's now walking backwards, essentially, and says, there is no reaching me. You must do this for the safety of all. I cannot leave this coastline, but you are a wanderer. And she turns back the other direction.
I know someone who can fish.
Turns back again and walking backwards, she says, that's good. You're going to need them.
Thanks for the info.
She's still walking backwards and she says, thank you for your service to the earth.
Thank you for your service to the coast.
She turns around, continues walking away.
Bye.
She reaches down to scoop up her rabbit and just disappears into the town.
I'm going to search out Kelly.
All right, Kelly has just gotten done beating a man's ass. He's been knocked to the ground, and she's pinning him to the ground, saying some really 90s-ish Lion King's lines.
Why are you hitting yourself? Why are you hitting yourself?
I hope she's not doing that.
Yeah, I'm basically like straddling on top of him and just being like, come on, try and get up.
Wow.
It's like a mixture of like the Elton John song and Karate Kid montages.
Wow. So you're just a huge dick, apparently.
A little bit of old Kelly is coming through when he used to do like this sort of stuff with like his war mates and shit. So, yeah.
I'll say, hey Kelly, do you have any bait?
I'm like holding the guy down with his own arm, and I'm like, what do you mean, bait?
For fishing?
I mean, that's a very specific question. What are you trying to fish?
Need to find a char? A big one?
Arthur, would I know what a char is? Would
Yeah,
I be able
absolutely. Char is a fish.
Okay.
It's a
No, I get
cold
that.
water fish native to alpine lakes and salty waters.
What's the biggest fish char I've found?
I don't know that you've ever fished a char personally. You tell me, have you fished char?
I mean, probably not, but
So,
been,
you know,
like-
they're
like
normally
old
several
Kelly's been
feet
around
long.
longer. Okay. So I would probably say, like, you know, what are you talking, like 5 foot, 4 foot? What do you need?
Around 30 foot.
I think at that point, I like
Like a small whale.
I lose concentration enough that the guy that I'm pinning down just punches me in the face or something like that.
It's like a
30
C
feet.
plus.
Wow. An Animal Crossing joke? That's painful, man.
I tried to be relevant.
I know. Did you get my golden watering can, by the way?
Oh fuck, I don't know. I haven't had time to turn the game on in like a
All
week.
right. Well, I sent you one.
Fighting
Yeah,
with
I'm with you, dude.
a fish for 8 minutes, you pull it out, it's an egg.
Yeah.
It's just a boot. It's just an old boot.
Wow. I'm so glad that event is over. It was awful.
So, you know, I'll thank this man that I beat stupid, black and blue.
Wow. Wow. This is somewhat different, but okay.
So I'll explain to Kelly, you know, about the white worm and yada yada.
Do you have much experience with women, Henley?
I mean, I've been around for 1,000 years, so I'm assuming a little.
Okay. Do you know she seems to... I mean, I've met some crazy broads previously. Did she seem all there to you?
Well, she's a druid, so no. Do I seem all there to you?
I mean, I've seen multi versions of you, so yes. I think in the grand scheme of things, yes.
I mean, she did not, I didn't get the crazy vibe from her. That's for sure.
But she asked you to fish up a 30-foot char and bring it to a supposed half asleep white dragon sitting on an ice cap.
And he didn't think she was crazy.
I mean, we've seen a lot of crazy shit, so this seemed less crazy than some stuff we've gone through.
Okay, I've never heard of this creature before. I mean, we've heard of a green worm and a black worm, but never a white.
Perhaps there's someone around here that can corroborate.
So the guy I beat up, Arthur, he mentioned something about a carriage or something?
Yes, he's preparing a barge to deliver you to a place they call the Conclave.
Oh, because of the guy that we talked about previously.
Bricks are strong.
Right. Yes. Sorry, it's been a while. Okay. So maybe I'll ask him about this worm.
He holds a hand up for someone to help pull him off the sands.
I'll pull him up.
All right, he says, "You do not speak often of the white worm, Frostwander. It has slept for many decades, but my great-grandfather was part of a quest. Slay it. When that failed, the wisest among our people traveled north with offerings to lure it back to sleep. A great bard cast a spell upon it with songs, tales of ancient times."
So this seems fairly feasible that we would have to fish up a whale-sized fish in order to put this dragon to sleep?
I know not the way of dragonkin like yourself, but
Yeah, fish. A lot of fish generally puts me to sleep, yeah. So I'm
okay.
not surprised.
I've seen it.
We respect the shamans who guard our coastlines. They see things many years in the future that we cannot.
Okay. So this is something we should...
I
heed?
cannot say whether you should or should not heed their advice. You are not from among us. This is a problem we should be dealing with ourselves.
I'll tell you what, if you fish up any giant 30-foot char, I'll let you know.
No one has ever caught the king of the frozen northern char. Far too intelligent and wily. Be like trying to face down the king of the Arctic buffalo.
Your analogy doesn't seem to hit with me too easily.
Very well. It would be like
I'm
trying
not
to kill the
really
king of the great antlered deer.
I think the problem here is that I've never actually committed any sort of regicide.
It would be like trying to kill the king of boars from the Great South.
I think when they say king of animals, it's like a king, like a big version of a small animal.
Oh, so like
They are not the
Knocking
same
out
as a
of the big
smaller. They are not just larger. They are wiser and magical and intelligent. Some say that they have powers. They lead their people.
So we're looking for a fish that other fish swim behind.
Yes.
Let's just find a bunch of big school of fish and catch the one in the front.
You have much experience fishing in the frozen oceans of the...
How difficult could it be?
Never learn until you try.
He turns and looks at the camera. That turns straight to you. How difficult would it
Did you
be?
Jim face this?
That
I
was
mean,
the
I don't
moment
want
they
to toot
knew.
my own horn,
fucked up.
but I've definitely put line in water before, if you know what I mean.
So
Taka just flashes back to dying when he hits the water.
why? I want to ask him. I'll say, why do you think it should be left up just to you? Why wouldn't you want their help?
Would you wish for us to come to your homelands, tell you what to do, manage your animals,
I mean,
solve your problems?
I don't think we're telling you what to do. I think we're just offering help. There was a druid. She came to me specifically.
She is not a druid. She is a shaman.
A shaman.
Totally different.
Totally different.
Totally different.
Came to me specifically. Told me of this issue, this problem.
Among our people, it is said that a man solves his own problems.
Well, she is not a man.
Yet, what I'm saying is that this is a problem that will affect all of the clans. The clans should be the ones to solve this, from my point of view.
Is there like a leader of all of the clans?
Are you asking him that?
Like a king of the clans?
Yeah.
There is a clan of clans. I assumed you knew this. You were going to meet their prince.
That's right.
Crix the Strong.
Well, maybe we should ask him if he wants our help, and if not, then we'll move along.
He nods like, okay, that's wise.
I'm known for being wise.
The wisest.
He nods as if, yeah, that checks out. You look like, the filthy itinerant wandering druid, so yeah.
Finley the Wise, they call me.
That's his way. He's just calling you a nerd. It's pretty much.
I mean, he puts a hand on your shoulder and says, "I will spread your story, Finley the Wise."
I put my hand on your shoulder and I'm like, "Don't forget about the part where I kicked your ass, okay?"
He starts writing a poem where he is like, there's no rhyming to it yet, but he's like, Finley, the wanderer, the druid of the bear. He had a companion, body had absolutely no hair. He hit me in the face with a fist, and it hurt really bad. I'll work on it. It's not very good so far.
No, I like it. I mean, it's the most romantic thing anyone's ever written about me. So
very good. You just keep writing.
Very well.
Should we go find this prince?
Return here at dawn tomorrow. We'll ride out on the mists in one of our barges.
Do the clergymen get fucked up around here?
I mean, he gestures to people who are openly drinking in the temple.
Do people just do normal things around here? Why do they have to disappear with rabbits and ride in on the mist? Why can't they just show up?
I mean, he says it is not a good time of the year for alcohol imbibing, but should you wish it, there is tasteful, tolerant amounts.
All right.
Perhaps you would like to...
I've had a long journey up into this point, and it was nice loosening the muscles. And now I need to loosen the throat and the mind. And I can find me some alcohol.
Would you like to face the King of Cards? It is tradition that there is a card master.
We call him the Dueling King.
He's the king, master of cards. We call him the King of Cards. Every wandering conclave in every village has one.
Is there? You mean gambling?
Gambling can be involved or not. Either way, you will find your mind challenged against the swift and decisive blows. I have never once beaten him at cards.
He is the king.
No one has his Gwent card yet.
Yeah, I was about to make a Gwen joke. There is the King of Cards over there. He looks at you in the eye and goes,
yeah, he just nods for 5 seconds really awkwardly before putting his card deck on the table.
God, I hated that animation.
I love that animation. It's so good. It's just...
like, no matter the temperament of the person,
it's like their soul had left their body. Yeah.
Like, yeah, you could have had a bone-chilling argument with them, talking about their dead daughter. The next line you say, "Want to play a round of Gwen?" And they're just like,
yeah. If
Every
that's
time
not
they
to your
do-
liking, perhaps you could play dragon chess with some among the taverns.
There better
Who's
be
the
a
king
mod.
of Dragon Chess.
There better be a mod to put the Curb Your Enthusiasm theme every time someone does like the awkward Gwent nod.
I hope they have that. I hope they have that exact animation in Cyberpunk.
What was the in-game Pokemon that Virgil was working on in Night City? Where it was like you battled with political figures against each other.
Oh, fuck,
I mean,
that
he made a Donald Trump Pokemon basically called the Drumpf. Yeah. No, that was our business idea. You remember that? I was like, we're gonna have an ARG. You have a physical card, and then like your thing comes out of the card, and they battle each other. Yes, that happened,
you had,
Dave.
like,
I'm
you had,
remembering
like, a
it now.
dueling-
That was a business opportunity we were making.
You had to have like a.
Oh,
a
you had to have your dual deck.
cybernetic arm
Your
thing.
cyber
Do you remember
deck.
that?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I am really good at role-playing games, guys.
So, Cyberpunk was so good for that sort of shit. You wanted to build like a business in there, they had systems upon systems for that shit. You could do whatever you wanted. It was so good. I'm glad you all took
Is that a
advantage.
holographic George Washington? Whoa.
I'll trade it. I'll trade you it for my my bullet in the head, Abraham Lincoln.
I prefer Vampire Hunter Abraham Lincoln. It's a upgrade
Nah,
card.
man, that card's not legal. That's a promo card. Come on.
Aberdolf Linkler from
Oh my God.
from Rick and Morty.
Nope.
Was it Rick and Morty? I don't know.
What the fuck is
What's the plan?
I think we're getting drunk. Well, I'm gonna get drunk.
Are
for
you
the
headed
rest of the
back
night.
to your inn in order to get drunk? You have a whole
Yeah.
barrel of dwarven ale waiting for you at the Weary Lich.
Oh,
I
fuck
know.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take advantage of that. Come on.
So, as you're heading back, you notice that at the edge of town, coming from every direction, the town is being surrounded by massive creatures of stone and clay, and even some made of like frozen ice. It looks like there are golems. What do you?
Hang on, I'm sorry. We're just like, yeah, time to get drunk, and then we're just like, as we're walking along, like the fucking surrounding town just
The
gets
fucking armies of the night King are
It's
showing
first
up.
off,
and
they're
then we all
not.
look at each other.
No,
we all
no,
look at
just
each other
let
and
me
just like,
finish.
Are we doing something about this, or are we
Just
getting
let
drunk?
me finish.
Hey guys, I'm Snog.
Behind each of them, they are dragging cut logs. And it looks like it's clear around here that no one even pays any attention to them. This is totally normal for golems.
Made of ice and stones.
Okay, Korg. All right.
Now I really need that drink.
Yeah, if we see these golems, it's probably like, I ain't drunk. Nope. Fuck that. I'm just gonna keep walking.
So
Wait, this
you
is a
you
case
stop
of
outside the
leave
Weary
that the fuck
Lich.
alone.
There are two huge piles of dead bodies that have been conglomerated into golems. And when you open the door, the innkeeper says, "You start any shit, you get thrown out by the fresh go." Oh, it's you again, Master Dwarf. And remember, this is a halfling that can only speak Dwarven, so you're the only one he can communicate with in the entire bar.
Nice. Yeah, I'll pretty much stop everybody at the stop their all their party at the door. Be like, yeah, he only
Oh
speaks
no, I
Dwarvish.
can.
Do you speak
Wait,
Dwarvish?
no, I can read Dwarvish. I can't.
You can
Correct.
read. You can't speak it.
Ah.
He says you starting his shit, and the golem's gonna kick your ass. Just don't start.
Yeah,
this
yeah.
shit.
Talk shit, get hit. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
pretty much. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. I like that policy. It's pretty much on the nose.
Do golems speak?
No,
Okay.
they are not intelligent.
So
You know what? Make an
So,
Arcana check to see what you know about golems.
I love the last time you described this, you forgot to mention the pile of corpses.
I don't think he.
I
think that's fresh. I think that's new.
specifically recall the innkeeper saying, "If you start shit, you'll be thrown out by the innkeeper." Last episode, you
Yeah,
just
you said that.
Oh,
but
you
there was
just
no
let
mention
that
of
one
pile of
slide.
corpses.
No. We remember that. We didn't remember. We don't remember you ever mentioning a pile of bodies outside of the
That's
inn.
correct because they weren't there before.
Okay.
They're there now.
Oh, so these
All
are
right.
new. How
are
many
new.
bodies are we talking here?
These are giant walking pile of bodies. These are flesh golems.
Well, I assume he says pile of bodies. I'm assuming a pile of bodies, like we would have for like a funeral pyre or a mass grave or something.
Yeah, it's basically like a mass grave that has a brain and can move around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think
yeah.
I'm certain of
Wait,
shit,
is this
so.
the barge? Is this going to be what the barge is made?
Just made it a body. Look, recycling,
A
man.
boat corpse?
So, with the 17 Arcana, Daka, that golems are constructs. They're basically made mostly by wizards, right? Like, they're not attached to, sorcerers, they're not attached to clerics, they're not attached to other magic casters. They're pretty much just wizard weird stuff that they do. They're essentially elemental spirits. In this case, they're spirits of death that have been bound to the form of corpses to do work. They're not intelligent. They're not super strong. They're strong for their, they're stronger than a human, right? But for their size, they're not actually that strong.
Yeah.
They just have like an unlimited amount of vitality and endurance because they are powered by magic rather than anything else. Now, it takes a lot of money and effort and time, but a lot of wizards feel that it's worthwhile because then you have an infinite source of labor.
Yeah.
And they last forever, right? Like, they can take material and absorb it back into their body. Like an iron golem that presses iron into itself will heal itself. And so
in this fantasy like town builder, that's like tier 3 tech. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, once you have one, it'll last hundreds, thousands of years. You put the effort in and your grandchildren will reap the
Goddamn golems took our jibs.
you do know that flesh golems are kind of insane, though.
When you say flesh golems,
they
I immediately think of the ones from Oblivion.
When
Shivering
flesh
eyes.
smelly are these
golems
things?
They're
start,
pretty smelly.
yeah, I mean, obviously they smell fucking horrifying. But it's cold up here, and
That's true.
It's at night when they come out. It's cold enough that they no longer smell because they're frozen.
It's
Probably-
a dry stench.
Yes.
Well, it's just they probably take longer to decay or whatever else because it's fucking freezing. I mean, that's just how it works with that.
So
bodies.
you know that flesh golems specifically absorb lightning. They rear away from any form of open flame, and if they are injured, there's a chance that they'll go insane and start killing until there's nothing left to kill.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, they're not very good guard dogs. They're more like bombs that you tell people if you do something, everyone will die.
I keep that to myself. Just look at the bar owner and be like,
Yeah, he nods
Okay.
back to you. He's a little halfling man, but he rolls your keg of dwarven ale out. It's got 2 crown symbols on it from the prefecture of Belgaron, indicating that it is genuine dwarven ale of significant quality. Haig and Riverin both pull up mugs. It's warm in here. Like, outside, it was starting to get cold as the sun started setting, but now it's fucking blazed in here. People are throwing, like, sage and thyme, other aromatics on the hearth. You have a whole section of the long hall to yourself. There are complimentary furs if you need to wear them. There are complimentary horned helms if you want to wear them.
Both. Oh, yeah.
hot box in the end.
So I've got my helmet with the bear thing on top of it. I'm going to put a horned helm on top of the bear's head.
I grabbed my robe and horned helmet thing.
So
How long before me and Agrum start like headbutting each other?
I don't know. After you've been drinking for about 30 minutes, a man enters. He has a beard down to his belly button. He appears to be either elven or half elven. Ears slightly pointed, less rounded. Huge wizard's hat, dark gray cloak. And when he enters, everybody stops talking and he pulls out a deck of cards, flishes them between, and everybody's just like, King of Cards. And somebody else is like, I don't think I could challenge him. My deck's not ready. And somebody else is just like, I think I have the deck, but it's just so good. He predicts my every move. Somebody else is just like, he believes in his deck, and that's why he wins. And he says in a thin, reedy voice, is there anyone who wants to challenge me? 2 cards?
I'll stand up, slurring, and I'll be like, "Me,
Present your deck.
I don't have one. Let someone give me a deck."
He reaches into a pouch in his cloak and pulls out a deck and says, "I have a beginner deck for you. I will teach you to play."
Don't believe that one, Kelly. Get your own deck.
Is this going to be like Arthur on a scale from this is exactly it and this shame on you, Dave, for pointing me out and not even close? Is this is this the deck that is in that what fucking book was it? Where they had all the fuck. I'm gonna have to remember it. It's
a card. Let me stop you. It's a card game unique to this world.
Does it contain memories of like the people that were in the cards or whatever?
No. So these cards are based on locations and important people in the history of this world. So if you recall, if we're looking at the map here, all of the map is made up of cards for this game. We're only 52 episodes in, and this is something that was supposed to come around in episode 5 or 6. But of course, you were supposed to get to the guild in episode 2 or 3, but it took you until about episode 30. So I don't need plans anymore.
Arthur, have you been saying that we've been throwing away perfectly good cards the entire time?
You've never encountered a single card. You've never been like, I want this. You've never asked for a form of entertainment beyond getting drunk and having sex. So.
Well, I think we gambled once or twice, but we used my dice. I think we didn't play cards.
Wait, hang on.
Underestimated the secret ingredient. The secret ingredient to Battle Juice is side quests and tangents.
I thought it was violence.
Yes,
that just happens.
I was going to say the secret ingredient is violence.
So he comes over and he lays down a deck. And
it's okay, Arthur. I know the book series. Is it the Lightbringer card stuff
from the
Lightbringer series, like Black Prism?
I don't know what that is.
That sort of stuff. So in this book series, they have a card game which is literally like these are like people and historical events and stuff. And there's a guy like the Prism who can like manipulate light, and he can like see the histories of the cards and shit. It's
more like Magic the Gathering.
Really good story. Okay, so it's like Planeswalkers then?
So the deck that he hands you is specific to the Clans of the Flow. It's the main card are based around maps of the Clans of the Flow and their different locations. Because of the way that the Clans of the Flow live, where all of their people live on yurts or boats or move around constantly, the location, their card's special ability allows them to shift resources around quite easily.
Let me ask you this, Arthur. Is a history check going to be relevant here for my deck?
Absolutely. I will allow you to play this game using a history check in order to assemble the cards correctly.
Make the machine that is my deck work.
Correct.
I know
and you know, at the end of your deck, Crix the Strong is the warlord of your deck. He's your strongest card.
Oh yeah.
I've got proficiency, so I'll give you advantage.
Are you going to consult with him during the game? The card wizard doesn't care because obviously he's pretty sure he's going to whoop your ass.
Well, Kelly's just like deck building right now, so it'd be like
he's drafting to get his sideboard.
It's like doing the.
I got 15 cards on the side. I have to decide if I'm going to put them in my main deck before I play Arthur. Come on now.
Yeah, just giving like. If it is Magic the Gathering like, and all the rules are on the card, like written.
Yes, all the rules are on each card.
If it's written plainly, then Doc would just be like reading them and like putting them together and like putting together like small win condition combos.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so I'm rolling with advantage here on history.
Yep.
Heck yeah, let's go.
6. You got a 6. He got a 26. In your first game, it's not that he rolls you instantly. He stops the game at various points to tell you, like, you know, these are your options, this is how it could go. But even when you follow his best advice, he's still absolutely schooling you. He's playing a deck that involves the Seaborn folk and a combination of the Sunpath Empire, and he's playing a full naval fleet deck. And It's just
Yeah, no, he's just-
unbelievably good. Like every time you do something, he's like, I eliminate your barch and Crix a Strong drowns as per his rules.
No, you know what it
From the
is? You
game
know what it is,
board.
Arthur? This is exactly what it is, right? I'm just like, can I read the card? And I like take his card and I like read it. And then he's doing the like stuff with his deck because I'm like taking too long to do a turn. Oh my God.
Yeah, he reaches out a hand and says, "Good game."
I reach out my hand and I shake his hand. I'm just like, oh, what was I was gonna say something. It's like, well, next time we play, I'll make a ramp deck into monsters, and then we'll see how we go. Okay?
I am but a humble king of cards for the colony here. There are many card kings across the land, and perhaps one day we will have the card emperor. When I look at you, I see potential in everybody in the bars. Is like, oh, the card king has like chosen his successor. One day you could surpass me. And he like gathers his cards up and swoosh, card magic.
Oh, look, it's my nephew, your rival.
What was his name again?
Is he a boy or a girl? As he leaves,
I've been both, so.
as he leaves, people resume their drinking, and people seem more aware of Kelly at this point. But yeah, you're all, well, several of you, I guess everybody but Daka is wearing horned helms by now. It's sweltering hot. People are taking off their furs. Illicit substances in our world are now being dumped on the fire in order to... Now look, when I say this, I'm not talking like you all get hotboxed and you're super blazed. In this time period, these drugs are not that strong. The concentration levels are incredibly low. So it's just a slight mental fog, basically. Just enough to get you a little euphoric.
At some point between Kelly starting to play cards and now, however long it took, Edgar was now sitting on top of his barrel of ale. Like, just like topless, but he's still got his bear hat on with the helmet on top of that. And he's just drinking out of 2 mugs at once. Because that's how he rolls.
He's double fisting.
Yeah. I mean, at some point, River is just like, is that sanitary to be sitting on top of the barrel we're all drinking from?
Hasn't killed us yet.
Okay, I'll accept that.
This is dwarven ale. It's like 45%. It'll kill it'll cure what ails you. It's essentially whiskey.
I'll just like roll his eyes at the.
We call it ale for tax purposes.
No, it's just to be clear, everything he just said was bullshit. It's actually ale.
But like Daka's rolling his eyes at the pleb level drugs they're trying to use.
I imagine dwarven. I imagine dwarven ale is like whiskey for average people.
No, it's actually ale. It's just too bitter for the human tongue.
Daka's looking at these kids like they're like snorting those pixie sticks up their nose for lunch.
If you take a glass and you can put some on the other side of it and you can see it, it's not dwarven ale.
I'll agree with that. Yes.
As someone who drinks like completely dark beer.
Yes. Give me another round of tar, please.
I would like my bread in liquid form, please.
So I'm gonna go over to Finley and drunkenly put my arm around him and be like, "So, tell me about the girl."
A lobster shows up and it's just like, there you see her.
The shaman?
I just want to yell out to Spoot, "Did you get laid yet?"
Well, maybe if I get this fish, I'll have a chance.
Oh, it all makes sense. Let me ask you this. Did she show you a bunny rabbit?
Wow,
Yes.
Dave, you've been waiting 2 weeks for that one, huh? Okay.
No, I just thought of it. Oh, well, you're on the way then. You're halfway there. Now we just need to get you a big fish for some reason.
We'll find it. It's out there. As long as they want our help.
Why don't you turn into a fish and talk to the other fish and ask where the fish is?
Are you a druid?
I mean,
Because that's a good fucking idea.
shit, I might be. I don't know these days.
Alcar is just like, I think you were a druid like hundreds of times.
That makes sense. Hey, Alco, how you doing? You want?
Are you just talking to him out loud?
Yeah.
Okay. He's just like, I'm doing great. When you get drunk, I get drunk.
Did Alcar just bring
yeah.
up his Overwatch player stats?
He's still decrypting all of Kelly's information. He's hacking into the account, but yeah, he sees all of the play of the games from Druid players.
How many hours played of each version?
My time as a turret is like really high, guys.
Look, don't even touch. I played during the closed invitation only beta where you could only rotate 45 degrees with Bastion, but he had a massive shield and it was fucking awesome to sit on top of the cart and just blaze away all day long.
I was a Hanzo.
I remember because I was always run. You would be on the other team and I'd be at that front door running and you'd head snipe me as soon as the gate opened and I'd be like,
because you don't stand in front of the gate when I know you're going to be there.
Agram has like 99% of his time spent as Reinhardt, and people are like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I was Diva in the beta, man. She could fly everywhere. It was awesome.
I was
Reinhardt
and Junkrat.
Junkrat was so good at causing immense chaos.
I played him.
So I guess I'm actually going to get drunk and just talk out loud to Alcar the rest of the night.
What are you doing? What are you going to talk about?
Mostly about, like, you know, because I'm interested in what he used to do with all these other dudes.
Oh yeah, Alcar would tell you tales.
With
2 or 3 other adventurers that he's like, oh yeah, like, listen, we did some really glorious stuff. Like, it's hard to describe. Imagine a boat that floats through the darkness of space, okay? I was with a guy once like that. Yeah, okay, amazing. Hellscar? Oh, we did incredible stuff. You know, he would use me as a ceremonial weapon and be like, surrender or die, pirate scum. And they'd be like, is that Alcar the Glorious? And he'd be like, that's right, it's me, Captain Hellscar. And they'd be like, no, Captain Hellscar, the pirate killer, no!
Hey, Alcar. Hey,
Star-Lord, man. Legendary outlaw.
Wow.
Hey, Alcar.
Yeah?
You think we'll do cool things like that?
Yeah, we're going to do great stuff like that. Listen.
What if it...
I didn't think you could do it, you wouldn't be wielding me.
Have you not seen the intro sequence where you cut off what's his name?
Solvent Black.
No, I skipped the intro.
Lamonochrome's head with me.
Oh, next Lamonochrome. You kill the wielder. You kill the creator of the blade with his own sword.
My God.
Oh, wait, that's a good question. How many times have you died?
I'm a sword. I can't.
Whoa, shit. You're going to die with me at some point.
I'm actually not even a sword. I'm the concept of cutting things.
But you still die with me. You get to experience.
I don't understand what you're saying.
You get to experience death. Look,
I mean,
man, let me tell you something.
Like Alcar levels with you. He's like, oh, I experience death all the time.
No. The opposite of death. Instead of giving it, you'll be taking it.
I don't think I can die.
I tell you what, I'll prove it to you.
You just take Alcar to cut your own head off.
No. I was like, why don't you look through my brain and I'll prove it that we've died.
So Alcar is just like, whoa. I've been looking through your brain a lot lately, and it has not gone well for you. I think maybe you need to gain some internal strength before we try it again.
I tell you what, I have had so much of this stank weed and all this.
You have passed out in incredible agony every time we've done this.
Look, I just do it, man. I don't want to wait for prom anymore.
I'm not going to do it.
Just wait for what?
Prom. I don't need roses. Let's do it.
Not happening. He's just like, no.
Damn it. Fine. I'll go cut my own brain open. See how you like it. I'm gonna go.
Okay,
think
so
real
all of you
hard
are
about-
listening to Kelly mumble this drunkenly out loud. You don't hear the other side of the conversation, but she does threaten to essentially kill herself right there. Gonna go cut my own brain
stand up
open.
and I like point at Doc. Is like, you bookman.
Bookman.
You're Kelly. You're too drunk to have
Yes.
your memories ripped open by your sword.
No, he won't do it, but you will. You got to help me remember something.
Okay.
This ought to be
Alright.
good.
So I like rack her a chair in front of him. It's like, so how do you do it? How do you go back into your brain? You got to know something.
Daka will cast level 2 Phantasmal Force.
What? Okay. I can't wait to see how this plays out.
Can't wait to get kicked out of a
This is-
bar.
No, this is
Oh
like
boy.
this isn't like to cause harm. This is to make Kelly think that they see a memory.
I mean, if I recall, it makes them see their worst nightmare. But
But I can choose whether they're taking damage or not.
that's correct. All right, so you make a phantom cube around them, only perceivable to him, including sound, temperature, and other stimuli. So you can completely seal Kelly inside a shadow realm of your own choosing, essentially. Where
Nice.
is Kelly now, and what is happening to them? Well, first off, they get to make a saving throw. So Kelly,
That's true.
it's an int saving throw.
I mean, this is fairly willing.
Oh, sorry.
I think,
You only
so-
get to make the saving throw if you investigate the illusion. So
Yeah.
until you're like, oh no, I don't believe that this is real, or you're like, oh man, I was just in a bar and now I'm in a cage being drowned in blood, I'm making
Well, I
a
mean,
saving throw.
Give me the lead up to this. Do
Yeah,
you do some
tell us the
sort of
lead up.
dumb mumbo jumbo and like put your hand on my head or something like that? Like, what do you do?
I'll take Alcar from you and be like, can Alcar hear me if I'm touching it?
I mean, when you touch Alcar, I need you to make a charisma saving throw.
All right. Charisma's a good stat for me.
So,
19?
Okay.
Yeah.
Briefly, you get the idea that maybe taking Alcar is a bad idea, but then you pick it, sheath and all, up, and you get the idea that it's not happy, but it has an idea of what you're about to do and isn't going to resist. It does not, however, communicate with you because it's not bonded to you.
That's fine.
It's like Bucka
But I'll like
back on you.
without
Tsunere sword. Ugh.
So like I
But,
want to
like-
be picked up and manhandled by you, Bucka.
But I'll like take Alcar and make it look like I'm wielding the sword as Kelly would have to me. And
Yes, stab my brain.
cast
Get those
Phantasmal
juicy
Force.
memories out.
Okay. What do you make him see?
I think Kelly was telling us a story a long time ago about like the wars.
Yes.
So probably suddenly Kelly is back on the front lines
Fighting
of some
orcs.
massive war.
Fuck, what was that guy's name, Arthur?
Okay.
The general dude, the one that like, because remember Kelly's original backstory was that there was a general who basically like took a bunch of orcs from their homes and raised them in their army, and that's how Kelly became.
I don't know that you've ever
strong.
told me the name of this person. I have no such
I'm
notes of
pretty
this.
sure I did. Like
I remember
episode
you
1.
describing this backstory to me, but I don't remember ever naming this person or you naming that
Okay.
person.
Let's
Is
go
that what we
and-
see right now? Is that your nightmare illusion? Is that you are being dragged out of your home in order to join the army?
I would think so. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, you're drunk and you're like very little high. You're contact buzzed by the weakest weed available. This is that
Mhm.
California ragweed that the soccer moms are selling you, okay? I watched
Oh, man.
Weeds season 1 through a couple of them. I know how
Yeah,
this
that show
works,
gets
kind of.
fucking weird.
Yeah, I
dude.
mean, look, I stopped after the season where she tried to get across the Mexican border peeing in a cup somewhere, and I was like, this is as far as I go, fellas. Like,
yeah, it
there's
gets
some
so
weird
awkward, though.
shit
You made a
going
good
on.
choice.
It's like the most mundane version of Breaking Bad there could possibly be. But
Yeah.
I mean, I saw someone that was like, Breaking Bad would only happen in the United States. A man gets cancer and has to put his kids through college, and he makes drugs. This is a problem no other first world democracy has.
yeah, a white woman gets bored in a closed gated community and starts selling drugs.
Weed.
yeah. Anyway, yeah.
My
All right,
favorite
yeah,
scene
so
in
yeah,
that whole
that's-
thing is where the guy's like, I don't have to buy from you anymore. I just buy from the dispensary. And she's like, dipshit. They need your driver's license to do that? You're like the mayor of the town, and everyone's going to know that you're smoking weed all the time. And he breaks into the dispensary, tries to burn it down. Oh my god.
There was some really good
Weed
supporting
is so
characters in there.
fucking stupid.
Like I love the older brother, or no, her brother-in-law.
Yeah.
That gets his toes blown off by a drone or something like that in the army.
Yep.
And then he gets into porn.
Kevin Nealon was fucking great in that show.
Oh my god, he was so good, just perfect. If you haven't seen Weeds, go watch it. It's
I would say
really
watch like the
slow
first
burn.
two seasons and maybe
Yeah,
not
it's
too much
really
beyond that.
slow. It's like if you didn't like the pacing of Breaking Bad, this is even slower. This is
I mean, it's more like the pacing of the first season of
But it's
Fire.
also a comedy, and each episode is like a half hour long.
Yeah,
so
that's
not
true. It's
bad.
definitely a comedy. All right. Henley, do you even notice that you are in an illusory nightmare dream? Or do you simply go along with being dragged out of the house by someone you despise as your mortal enemy?
I think up until the point where there's inconsistencies.
Okay. Make a intelligence... is it a save or is it an investigation check? Make an intelligence investigation check. So as you're being dragged out by your hair.
Like I imagine, like the thing that I remember. Let's just call him Sydney. It's just easy to remember that
Sure,
way.
Sydney.
Is that he is like super scarred from all these battles. Like that's probably what I remember. And I don't think that sort of detail ever would have been passed on by the original Kelly. So potentially it's something like after a moment in time, he notices that, or she notices, or I guess he at this point, because it's Kelly, the original one, would notice that it's like,
I mean, I feel like all the things you're talking about don't matter so much. You're experiencing this as a nightmare, and it's like you're both people at once. You're just like, oh fuck, what the fuck is happening? Like, oh, but I don't remember having hair. I'm a dragonborn, and you're like, no wait, I'm an orc, and yeah, like shit is so
Yes, it's
fucking
like-
weird for
it's
you,
like-
right?
he's like, oh god, I have a penis again.
It's Max Payne 2: Fall of Max Payne.
Oh my god.
The last
From
third of the
Lola
game.
Sax's perspective, if she was.
Oh
Max
god,
Payne.
my tail is on backwards.
When you're staring down the barrel of a gun, time slows down. Max Payne 2: The Fall of Max Payne. All right, make a.
I don't know why I helped out that bulbous, big-headed boy, but
Max Payne here.
It was a weird episode, but I did it. 11.
What's your spell save, Daka?
14.
Okay, yeah, you're trapped in the dream
I'm
for
along for the ride.
a whole
Just
minute. You get dragged outside. General Sydney is just like, you work for me now. And then there are other orcs, and like orcs and half orcs are capturing this orc village and like wrapping the back of their hands together so that they're, like unable to fight back. And he's just like, you'll fight for me. You'll kill for me. There are demons to be dealt with. There are orcs to be dealt with. The world will know our power because we are the righteous, and I will make you strong because you are weak. People are openly weeping, like, no, don't take my child, don't take my wife, don't take my husband. Like the whole village gets caught in a downpour all at once. And then you wake up because you're back in the inn, and I guess for some reason I get the idea that Finley and Agram are doing upside down keg stands. You're just like, whoa, oh no, this is the worst moment of my life. Oh, it's so warm compared to that water that was everywhere.
Yeah, I'm
and
like
Daka is
sweating
holding
and drooling
Alcar
at
in
the
front
same
of you
time.
still.
Yeah, I'm like sweating and drooling. I'm like, ugh.
Told you you'd have a bad trip. I know bad trips.
You make a deception check, Daka. Can you make an insight check, Kelly, to see if you buy this illusion as having been caused by Alcar? Well, yeah, the pieces aren't coming together. You briefly saw Daka like move his lips and wave his hands because the spell is verbal and somatic, and
I like snap out and grab Alcar out of your hands, and I'm just like, that was the only time. When I ask for your help next time, just say no if you can't help. There's no need to trick me.
Okay. I'm gonna go talk to the wizard.
the card, King of Cards, he left.
He's obviously a wizard.
He left. But if you are looking for a wizard, there is one here. There is a woman in the corner. She's sitting alone. People have given her a berth, you know, in the way that when someone you don't want to fuck with, or maybe when you're like, oh, they're too old, we have to be respectful around them. There's like one seat in every direction around them. She's just eating essentially the dinner buffet, like some soup, some hearty meat and bread, and she has a massive fucking golden goblet filled with dark red wine. But what gives her away as a wizard is the fact that she's wearing one of the wizard hats, and the top of it, the little pommel, has like a red banner indicating that she is somebody the Red.
Ah, so she's got the red belt of the wizards.
Yes, she has the red belt of the wizard.
That means she's been studying wizardry for like 2 years.
No, that's...
She obviously has a fire deck.
Why do you think she plays card games? All right,
Well,
so
she's
you're
nodding
approaching her?
constantly in the corner.
Yeah. Well, like,
Alright.
I'll have like my drink and another drink just in case. It's like to break the ice.
Okay, yeah. She nods for you to sit down across from her.
Like set down.
Takes a drink and sips a little bit from it, and then takes a spoonful of soup and then drinks from her goblet and says, that was all right. What's your name, boy?
Daka.
I can tell you're not from around here, Daka.
What gave me away? It's like
Is it my stony
Yes, exactly. I mean, she's just like, you seem like maybe you're from a different plane.
that joke killed on my plane.
starring that guy that drinks tiger blood. What the fuck is his name?
Oh, Charlie Sheen.
Charlie Sheen.
Tiger blood? You'd have to be insane to drink raw blood.
Oh, but it's not raw blood. It's tiger blood. It's different.
She says,
Back when winning was a thing.
I am Shihan Magenta. So she's looking you over and she says, you seem to me some form of arcanist.
Yes.
No warrior would walk around with such a exposed body area.
I'm assuming my book is just hanging off of me.
Yeah, but she's just I don't know that she ever noticed it. She's just looking at the fact that you've got like your rock torso exposed and it's fucking cold as shit outside.
I would just like to mentally picture that she says no warrior would walk around that exposed. And in the background, Akram's doing a keg stand, nothing but pants, just tattoos and scars out. Just chug.
You're
chug.
also wearing 2 horned helms at the same time.
The horn helm was probably falling off.
I
at
feel
this
like it's
point.
pretty easy to determine that you are some form of warrior type.
Yeah, you also have that distinct look that D&D characters have when they know that they don't read a whole bunch.
He's got the misspelled extreme tattoo on his chest. Extreme.
Look, I've got a +2 int there, and it ain't stupid.
You just
I ain't
don't
done
have
too
enough
much.
body to fit the whole text in. That's
I ain't done that much book learning, but I ain't stupid.
She says, "What brings you north?"
But before that, I'll just like smirk and be like, "Eyes are up here." She's clearly staring at my stone nipple.
Yeah,
Your
I mean,
rock hard nipples.
She says, "You're probably centuries too young for me, boy, but you have a acceptable." What?
Try me.
Oh, she laughed.
God damn. God damn.
Okay, is this something you want to make happen?
Listen,
No,
I've been
he's
holding
just
my
like
sword
playful
all night.
banter.
Okay, all right, yeah. I mean, yeah, she's
He'll
laughing.
look over and be like, "That's my daughter."
Look, if we can get MILF content going on in 2 shows, I mean, you know.
She waves to Riverin, and Riverin waves back, and she says, "Your people must age differently. Your daughter appears to be much older than I would have expected for someone of your youth."
Nah, we won't get into it.
Yeah, I understand. Magic can be unusual.
I'll just like point at the golems, like, "Those you're doing?"
Oh yes, I'm the constructor for this colony.
Our druid friend met up with a shaman, I think she's called.
Yes, the nameless one.
That's
Something
why
about-
she wouldn't tell her my name.
Damn.
She's very insistent on not having a name because obviously beasts have no name. He is the guardian of all creatures, not just those who speak.
She was going on about fish. And
Yeah, she tried to get me on some sort of fishing quest. It's very annoying. She just like reaches up and takes a swallow of wine and says, she's always doing things like that, and we mostly just don't pay attention to her until something reasonable happens.
I was going to ask your advice, so your advice is to ignore it.
Well, I mean, if she's talking to outsiders, then it actually must be a desperate situation.
Okay, big fish. What do you know about it?
How big are we talking?
Finley.
30 feet.
30-foot long fish. Are you talking about one of the kings?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. King of the Char fish, North King fish.
Frozen
thing.
Northern Char. I don't know
right.
much about them, but she
You
looks
need a harpoon.
So she looks around and lowers her head and whispers to you and says, "These people don't think a lot of books, but I have some back at my tower, which further give more information about Char. I must confess I don't know a lot about fish, but I'm sure I have some travelogues which could indicate more." What
Anything
interest do
like
you
that?
have in the king of the frozen northern Char?
I put the white worm to sleep.
Ah, Frostwander. Yes. Interesting. Well, better you than me.
I'm a book type. I'll like raise my arm a little bit, and my like gigantic stony black tome is there.
Okay, yeah, like she says, like, are you a warlock or are you a wizard?
Well, one of these answers upset people.
She says, I have no judgment here. If you are a follower of Stalvin Black, I care not for politics.
I'm not a follower of Black, but I am a warlock.
Some seek alternative paths when they lack the patience. I reserve no judgment. You have your own journey to discover your power.
You're not the only person who's told me that recently.
Then it sounds like you are lucky to meet so many wise people.
Lucky or cursed?
I mean, from what you said, she looks insulted as if you, oh, okay. All right, that's how we're going to do this.
But I'll like, if you're offering books, I would care to flip through some.
No one would ever write lies in a book.
Nope.
They think
Especially
people
about
just go write
fish.
books,
Too
they'll
much
tell
effort.
lies.
Especially about fish. Although in this time frame, writing's not like a common thing, so you'd have to be a real dick to learn all you can about writing and then fucking
Professional troll is what we call that.
I mean, look, as much as writing might be rare, it's a matter of interpretation, right? Like,
yeah.
I'll just give you a quick for instance. People assume that Emperor Nero of the Roman Empire, 5th Roman Emperor, burned down half of Rome and laughed while it happened. But all of the records of that time period come from 100 years later from the ancestors of people whose houses were burned down. There are no records from Nero or anyone that was part of his political court. Only his enemies got to write things about him. And it's really his enemies' grandchildren. So there can be creative interpretations in writing over time.
Well, I mean, here's why I believe everything written about Nero. He had a DVD burning software named after him.
Okay.
So as far as I'm concerned, no one would ever base a business name around lies. That's
He was
silly.
All right, back at the present, she says,
he was also in like Devil May Cry, so you know he's legit.
okay. She says, it's a little late to be inviting a man with a daughter back to my wizard's tower, but I assume
No
that you
funny
aren't.
business.
Yes, she says, good, excellent, we're on the same page. Professional courtesy.
Just making sure because you were really eyeing my breast earlier.
I mean, she just laughs uproariously and then downs the rest of her wine and then downs the whole mug that you gave her and says, follow me. As
Listen,
she's
boy,
leaving,
I'm
she pulls
DTF
out
now.
she pulls out a small flute and occasionally plays it while you're walking in the darkness of the night. And just to be clear, as soon as you step outside, it's fucking freezing cold. You're like, I'm from Canada, Arthur. Hey, I already know what this is like.
Have you ever felt minus
hang on.
51 Celsius?
No, I
Are
have.
you saying?
I like being alive.
Are you saying that she walked outside,
Yeah.
pulls out a flute,
Yeah.
starts to tempt dear Drumurboy out into the darkness?
No, she is playing the flute, though. It has nothing to do with tempting him.
Can I make a roll? See if
Arcana check, yes.
let's do it. 15.
The flute noise is magical. She is commanding things via this flute. There is some form of enchantment magic.
Golem stuff.
Is she the bouncer for this place? Is that?
Well, she told me she's like the constructor of the golems. So
True.
So as you're going through the night, there are no candles anywhere. Occasionally you might see people's houses lit by hearths, but even then there's no windows on any of the houses because they're a structural compromise. They make shit cold. So it's dark everywhere. No
Doesn't matter to
street
me.
lamps, no
I got devil
lanterns.
sight.
Right, but your devil sight begins picking up. The golems are constructing new houses in the middle of the night. So they are digging foundations and then constructing the Lincoln log places using those drawn logs from earlier. And you could see more golems coming back with more wood from the forest. Others are leaving with tools. It's clear that these things just work 24 hours a day and they construct at night, maybe because no one's around to see them and it's less horrifying.
Well, then you got to worry about traffic. You know, it's great time to do road work.
Exactly. I mean, it's not like there's roads here. There's the King's Road, but that's about it.
it's cool. Like visually, this is kind of cool though. Like if there's no lights, then Daka's eyes are like purple. Like you know the cat eye thing.
Yes.
I'm imagining that's what.
Yeah,
what
exactly.
Devil's like.
She takes you to a stone structure. It's a one floor, and it looks like if you were going to build a wizard tower, this is the first floor of the wizard tower, but it's closed at the top.
Yeah.
And when she opens it, you can see that rather than a tower, it's an upside down tower. It's a tower that leads downwardly. There's a center spiraling staircase
Interesting.
that dives
Nice.
into the earth.
It's good insulation.
Yeah, I mean, when it's fucking cold as shit. There's books everywhere. She like hands a shawl and her wizard hat to nothingness, and then the nothingness like grabs the hat and floats away, and you're like, oh, invisible servant.
Classic wizard stuff.
Classic wizard stuff. She waves a hand and several books fly over to her hand, and then she places them on a large table and says, here are some books about local ecology, if you'd like to check them over. I'm going to head deeper into the librarium and see if I can find travelogues or anything specific about the King of the Frozen Northern Char. King of the Frozen Northern Char.
Okay. Thank
Very
you.
well. Don't take anything. Don't try to leave. You'll upset the tower.
Staga's like, he's a little weirded out, but he's like, oh, I'm not weirded out at all, actually.
She looks at you like, just everything here is magical. I've spent centuries preparing my retirement location.
As long as you don't have any floating crystals that explode, we're fine.
She stares at you for a moment and then
Dog just sit down and like pick up the first book and like
after about 10 minutes she comes back up with several handwritten leather-bound journals that are clearly like original copies. You know, this isn't a book that somebody else wrote. This is an original. And you know, she just kind of looks over your shoulder and sees what you're working on. Says, these journals were written by an old friend. I haven't seen him in a long time, but like you, they are a traveler to this place.
I'll like take it open, like flip open the first page to see if there's a name.
Yeah, they're written by Kurex. Kurex Guide to Interplanar Travel, the Clans of the Flow edition, primer number 13.
Is this a name we know?
Yes, you've heard Kurex several times. I'll let you make an intelligence check to recall from your memory where you've heard it.
Okay. Just an intelligence check.
Yep.
I guess saving throw will work.
Yeah, that'll work.
14.
Yeah, so
I was just trying to like make a connection. If that's like the dude that's trapped here because he can't go back into Stolfen's Black thing.
No, correct. You've heard 2 or 3 times the primer for this show that tells you everything about, you know, here's where the elves live, here's who Stolfen Black is. It was written by Kurek. You've heard it referenced in character that Kurek is like an interplanar traveler who writes things and then like, oh look, I'm so smart, I've been to all these nice places on the prime material plane, look what I wrote about them. Gnomes suck.
Did I ever have one of his, or like
I believe you had
before?
his volume 0 and his volume 1 very briefly.
Yeah, but I don't have those anymore because
you died.
But I'll remark that like, oh, I used to own books written by this guy. Just
I see.
A friend of yours, I guess.
Yes. Well,
Damn.
Research partner. We were close.
You weren't joking about being old. I mean, no disrespect.
Well, you know, all who reach the end of their life cycle seek ways to avoid death. I'm just like any other.
He'll just like kind of like grumble under his breath, like, what if you wanted the other one?
Duck is like, I'm like Tassadar from StarCraft 2. I have never tasted death.
I have tasted death too often, and I want to.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, make a intelligence investigation check in regards to these journals if you want to learn more.
Investigation is good.
Yeah, well, that's good because that's what you're doing. So it's good that you're good at it. 12. Okay.
I was just looking if I had inspiration. I don't. Fuck.
So there's plenty of general information about the beasts known as the kings of the various races. You know them as the Boar King in the south. Normally they're referred to in that fashion, Animal King. They're not like some of them can talk, some of them can cast magic. Their abilities are very varied and widespread. All of them have one neat trick, and that's about all they've got, but they're also all super huge. It said that killing one is bad luck, and that, you know, like earning the favor of one is good luck. People have intentionally hunted kings because, of course, they're imbued with immense magical power, and thus they provide reagents. If you kill one, a new one will form, but it could take dozens to hundreds of years for it to happen. Frozen northern char is a very northern leaf fish. In order to catch it, you have to go beyond the edge of everything known and just sail out into the icy abyss for a day or two in order to find their like hunting spaces. So there are fish that, like, it's pretty rare for someone to be like, okay, let's get on a fishing boat. Let's go 2 days to the middle of nowhere in the icy frozen ocean and just stop here, drop some nets, catch some char, and then bring it back. Like, char is an extreme luxury item, essentially.
I'm assuming our Crix the Strong, Prince whatever, can help us out with this.
Could be. There's nothing here specifically about Crix the Strong, but...
No, but I'm just, like, putting together in my head.
Yeah, like, he could probably get you a fishing boat that would head in that direction.
And someone brave enough to actually do it.
Well, I mean, you guys are the ones who are supposed to be brave enough to actually do it.
Well, yeah, but, like, we need someone
You need a captain. You need a wild card. Yeah. Someone brave enough to sail the salty seas in the frozen north. What man could be captain enough to do it?
Somebody shows up on a boat. Wild card, bitches.
I was gonna say, just cut to an image of A-Group wearing a hat. Do what you want, cause a pirate is free. You are a pirate.
It's a gnome wearing the Star-Lord helm. He shows up and he goes, catchphrase.
Oh, man.
Not what you were expecting.
Gonna need a harpoon. A really big one.
What are you doing? It's a distraction, you dummy.
Yeah, I love that scene. It's like when Kevin Bacon saved the Earth. Oh, yeah, Footloose. Is that still the greatest movie ever made? I don't think it ever was. Hey, Mr. Stark, remember that one really old movie where the ice planet and the Empire is attacking? All right, we're at the halfway point. We're going to take a break. When we come back in 8 minutes, we're going to experience the second half.
Heck yeah.